Today is a celebration of all the hard work that has gone into creating this new public space for Central England Co-op Sustainable Space Programme. Groundwork Yorkshire was approached to develop the site here at Dodworth, and we've consulted with the local community here and store users to find out what the community really want to see in the space. After analysing the results from an online survey and also face-to-face consultation questionnaires, it was found that people really wanted a space that incorporated a seating area, a place to rest, a space that attracted wildlife, and a space that contained a number of beneficial and sensory plants. The community also expressed an interest in growing herbs and fruit in the space that the local community could then use. From the consultation, a proposal was put together incorporating the community's wishes, and this was then developed ready for implementation. Alongside this, we also put together an artist's brief for the creation of sculptured items that would appear in and around the space under the theme of insects and wildlife. The opening here today is being attended by a local school, and it involves creating bug hotels, planting herbs and sensory plants. The day also involves an activity where the children discover the artwork, accompanied by a talk from the artist about why these species are so important to our environment. It has been a delight to work with Central England Co-op on such a transformational and beneficial project, and the feedback today that we've had has been absolutely fantastic.
My name's Hannah Galimore, Social Change Manager for Central England Co-operative. So this is the first of our sustainable spaces where we've been investing carrier bag levy money raised in our stores back into the community spaces. We wanted to do this because we've worked really hard to reduce our carbon impact and deal with our portion of climate change. This is a way of putting something back into the community. From a kind of people aspect, during COVID, people have a newfound respect and enjoyment of their outside spaces, and not everybody has easy access to outside spaces. So this is kind of our way of putting some of those green spaces back into the community, creating a net biodiversity gain, and really just making the environments around our stores much nicer for people. So we were really lucky to find Groundwork UK as our main partner. So they've been our project management team for the 5 spaces that we're creating. For this particular space, we worked with one of our suppliers that we've worked with for a long time, Trios, and subcontractors UK Landscape. So before we started work, this space was a car park. It was a space that was used, but we had capacity in the car park, and just believed that this was a better use, a more valuable use of the space. Well, we've had lots of lovely comments, we've had lots of questions while they've been doing it. Obviously the sun's out today, so it looks amazing. We hope that people enjoy the space. We've got the welcome addition of a little library, so that's a book swap area. We hope people that will enjoy that and the seating, and we've also done some seating outside on the street as well, some new bench seating and some new planting. Well, the planting is specifically to encourage biodiversity. We've put in lots of pollinating plants, fruit trees, and literally anything that we can think of that would attract wildlife. We've got bug hotels, we have got beautiful art that reflects the nature that we hope to attract in this space, and then we've obviously got the seating areas because we wanted people to be able to stop and enjoy the spaces and appreciate the spaces. And we've had loads of kids here this morning from the local school, and they've really enjoyed engaging with the space, and we hope that community groups will continue to want to use that space.
Hi, I'm Adrian Mokes and I'm a sculptor. I'm based in Manchester, but actually from Doncaster originally, a few miles down the road from Dodworth. I've been a professional sculptor for about 35 years now and worked with Groundwork Yorkshire on a number of occasions in the past, around Wakefield and Lower Ferry Fryston and these kind of areas. Sarah Leeson, the senior landscape architect at Groundwork Yorkshire, is a contact I've had for a number of years. We've done a few projects together in the past, and she actually was brought in to take up this scheme for the community garden at the Co-op in Dodworth, and had to invite 3 or 4 different artists to submit design proposals for sculptures around the garden. They're all to do with pollinating birds and insects that you find in Britain. the co-op and Groundwork just liked my proposals best, and we took it from there. It's been a very sort of quick turnover, not much notice to, for instance, get community involved. But I've got a lot of experience in doing school-based workshops and community group workshops to design sculptures, and I sort of use that experience to come up with 6 or 7 different designs which I knew would be popular with the local community. It's a subject that really lends itself to sort of bringing in local residents, local school kids to actually study plant forms and the importance that they have in our sort of everyday environment. And I really like the aspect that they then go home or back to school and they know the importance of plants and insects and birds, and actually start sort of making their environment to be beneficial to all these species, which is something that's really inspiring as a sculptor. I don't like just sort of designing something and going and installing it somewhere without the local community knowing what's going on and it having that sort of added value. And I think it works really well with an organisation like Groundwork, who are obviously all about improving public spaces. This particular scheme in Dodworth, there's a number of small pieces which I've made, which I've really enjoyed doing because I like the sort of craftsmanship of sculpture as well. My grandfather was a master craftsman, and I learned that kind of really attention to detail and finish. Something like the railings, which you can see behind me, are sort of more of the kind of thing that you have to be well aware of health and safety aspects, particularly like sharp edges and gaps that you don't want kids to sort of get trapped in and things like this. So, but it's all part and parcel of the ingredients for public art, is to actually be well aware of all the parameters that you've got to work within and do your best to sort of not let that be a restriction, which with a bit of experience is fairly easy to do. This is a sculpture of a ladybird taking off. You often only see them static on a plant or in your house, and it's really nice to sort of show particularly local kids how their wings open up and take off. And I've been talking to the kids this morning about how even people like NASA space engineers are looking at the structure of ladybird wings in things like the James Ellis Space Telescope that's just gone up. So this piece is actually a sculpture which is featuring a very common species in Britain, the cabbage white butterfly. And I've chosen to not just depict a single butterfly, but a whole horde of them actually taking off as if we've got an action sequence. There used to be a lovely old Italian art movement called the Futurists, and they always looked at things in motion. And I thought this kind of approach to the sculptures in the garden was something that would interest people a bit more. It would catch their attention.
Going forward, a group is being created made up of local businesses, schools, the local library and the local residents. And the intention is that this group will work together to use this sustainable space to its full potential into the future.